Can I have one of the Senate volunteer to do the flag salute? Senator Lee, would like to do the flag salute.
Put the right hand over your heart, ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator Lee. With that, we'll move on to roll call.
Senator Alonso?
Here.
Senator Rana?
Present.
Senator Garcia?
Here.
Senator Beltran?
Here.
Senator Blanchard?
Here.
Senator Castillo?
Here.
Senator Diaz?
Here.
Senator Fernandez?
Here.
Senator Fierro?
Here.
Senator Florendo? And Senator Garcia?
Here.
Senator Gonzalez? Senator Gurley?
Here.
Senator Guzman?
Here.
Senator McIver?
Present.
Senator Catani?
Here.
Senator Lee?
Here.
Senator Lucero? Senator Martinez? Senator Nino?
Here.
Senator Oliveira?
Here.
Senator Oyarzabal?
Here.
Do you count?
No.
No? Okay. Senator Athena? Here. Senator Sedano? Senator Serna?
Here.
Senator Ubu?
Here.
Senator Venegas?
Here.
Senator Vidal?
Here.
Senator Villalobos?
Present.
Senator Wu? Senator Bong? And Senator Zabeda.
With that, we have quorum at 26. Move on to item 4, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion on the floor? Or as well?
Point of inquiry, it's been brought to my attention that there's reports that have been stated in the minutes that were not given in the previous meeting. I guess I would need to strike those.
Strike those
reports
reports
from the minutes.
Is there a second to strike those? Sharon? Okay, so there's a motion to strike reports that weren't given during last week's minutes. So just so you guys know, Charles always asks for us to give the reports ahead of time, so we do add them to the minutes beforehand, just so it could be easier for the clerk to be able to type them up. But since we didn't get to communications, those reports weren't able to be given last week. So what we will be doing is striking those reports that weren't given last week. So if there's any objections to that? Seeing none, with that we'll strike those out of the minutes. Anything else? Is there another motion on the floor? Senator Nino?
Move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Second by Senator Athena. There's been motion and second to approve the minutes with amendments. Is there any objections? Seeing none, with that we'll approve the minutes. With that we move on to item 5, approval of the agenda.
One more.
Yes. Actually, I saw Senator Fierro first, and then we'll move on to Senator
Back
Fierro.
to the agenda, right?
Yeah.
I move to have Senate reports after public forum.
Senate reports after public forum. Is there a second on that?
On the order.
Yes.
It has come to my attention that under Chapter 2 of Rules of Order and Brief of the Robert's Rules of Order, there's a certain criteria that we need to follow in our agenda. It must go as follows. Let's go the approval of the minutes, the reports, unfinished business, and new business. It's cited under Robert's Rules of Order, 11th edition, page 355 and 356. So I move to approve the agenda under the specified order under Robert's Rules of Order.
Do you want to address that?
Huh? Yeah.
Do you want to address- Okay, so parliamentary procedure is different than Brown Act. Brown Act is mandated by the state. Parliamentary procedure has a way of waiving itself. So for example, in regards to the Senate reports, It's been motioned to move it back down, okay? So the chair has the ability to arrange this however he or she sees fit, okay? So if you want to go in that order, if Charles chooses to have whatever order you said first, then that is the way it goes. If you feel that it's that important, you can move it yourself as well. The clerk and the chair of the meeting has the right to rearrange them accordingly, as long as, again, the members of the public have their time in accordance to Brown Act, and the members of the public are available with agendas as well. So parliamentary procedure are a little different than Brown Act. It's not mandated, it's rules that we follow, or procedures that we follow.
Was there a second for?
One degree. Are we not required for the Senate to suspend the rules, Robert's Rules of Order, in order for us to make such agenda items?
Valid point. It hasn't been in the past.
Was there a second to his motion? Second?
Point of order.
Yes.
I want to do a clear and correct according to Brown Act. Since on item 8D, we didn't need quorum in the middle of discussion. Technically, under the Brown Act, section 54955.1, this has to be the first item to be discussed with this basic agenda.
So the way curing correct works is we have 30 days within the actual, when you turn in your curing correct, to make that correction. Or we can talk about this now and then move it to the front. But if you feel like you want to do the curing correct, you're more than obviously able to turn in that to us. And then we'll correct it accordingly.
So,
I can go right now. That's what you're saying.
Right, but again, there are 30 days to make that correction within that, to cure that correction.
so if there's no objections, I would like to move item 8D after public forum. Well, actually, I like, if it's okay with the Senate, I'd like to move 8D after 7A, since we do have a guest speaker here today. Objection?
Yeah, we're not following.
We're not following Brown Act.
So do you guys want to make a motion on it?
Yes, I make a motion to move reports after approval of the agenda, then unfinished business, and followed by new business.
So Senate reports, and then right after public forum would be the
Unfinished business.
old business.
Yeah.
So the entire old business or
Entire old
just,
business.
okay. So it would be approve the agenda, then Senate reports, and then item 8.
Yes.
Is there a second to that? Second? Good. So there's a motion to move Senate reports and item 8, old business, after approval of the agenda. If there's no objection, we'll do so. Objection?
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we'll move on.
Point of order, isn't that, I'm going to violate Brown Act?
So-
This has to be the first thing on the agenda. So we're going to violate Brown Act.
We're going to be breaking the law if we object to this, and parliamentary procedure.
Again, you're correct. So with the correcting cure, we have 30 days. If this in fact happens, okay, if you go through it again, okay, you can correct and cure, and within those 30 days, we write a new agenda where item 8D, correct, is the first item on the agenda. It's up to you if you want to follow through with that.
So should we
Yes,
should
I
have,
want this to be discussed.
Okay, so again, right now, you're not violating anything because it hasn't been talked about yet. Again, if you go all through the agenda and you talk about D last, then you're in fact violating it. So then you can correct and cure. We have 30 days to make that correction, and it would go back to the beginning, and it would be in fact 7A under old business, and then we can make that correction then. Does that make sense? Or you can move to have it first, so that way you don't violate Brown. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
So there's ways to do this now instead of having to put that correct and cure.
right?
So
So,
there-
alright, so we don't have to have a huge discussion on this. Is, again, the motion was to have Senate reports and item 8, old business after approval of the agenda. Is there an objection to that? Seeing none, with that, we'll move Senate reports and item 8 after approval of the agenda. Is there any other motions on the floor? Is Senator
Arana.
Arana. There you go.
I motion to move 8B after 7A.
8B
Yeah.
after 7A.
Yeah.
Is there a second? Second by Senator Garcia. So 8B after 7A is, so the motion was to move 8B commencement after 7A transfer center. Is there any objection to that?
Okay. I feel as if we should finish our old unfinished business before we move on to any new business.
Since there is an objection, we'll have a roll call on this. Huh?
There was a second to her motion?
Yeah, Senator Garcia. So with that, we'll move on to a roll call. So the motion is to have 8B commencement after 7A transfer center.
Okay, so Senator Aponte,
Aye.
Senator Alana. Aye. Senator Garcia. Senator Beltran.
I'm sorry. I was facing that.
So it would be moving 8B commencement after 7A transfer center.
Nay.
Senator Blanchard. Aye. Senator Castillo.
Nay.
Senator Diaz. Senator Fernandez.
Aye.
Senator Rivera.
Nay.
Oh, Senator Fernandez. Senator Garcia.
Nay.
Senator Gonzalez. Senator Gurley. Senator Guzman.
Oh, nay.
Senator McIver.
The
Senator Katani. Senator Lee. Senator Martinez. Senator Nina. Senator Olivera. Senator Oyarzabal.
nay.
Senator Medina. Senator Sedano. Senator Serna.
Nay.
Senator Ubu. Senator Venegas.
Nay.
Senator Vidal. Senator Villalobos.
Nay.
Senator Wu.
Aye.
Senator Sabeda. Nine ayes, 18
With that, motion does not pass. Is there any other motion on the floor? Senator Nino?
Move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? Senator Medina? There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda with amendments. Is there any objections? Seeing none, with that, we'll approve the agenda and we'll move on to Senate reports. Is there any new Senate reports? Senator Fierro, then Senator Arzabal, then Senator Guzman.
Hi, I've been working with AJ as a student representative for, we're doing a food project fair. This is all about food, maybe the pros, cons of food, and we're gonna be working with, it's gonna be a giant fair by the student center. It's gonna be on March 5th, Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. along the student center. If anyone is interested, please let me know. I'm gonna pass this around. Thank you.
Okay, and then just let senators know, please try and keep your reports short so we can move on with the agenda. Senator Arzabal?
A couple things. I've been advised by a few students that we were wondering if we can turn on the cameras for the student faculty, the faculty meetings, union meetings. So I was just wondering if the Senate can provide inquiries as to who provides the cost for the board meetings to cameras to be turned on, and if we can get them turned on for the faculty Senate meeting. And also on a lighter note, there are auditions for the musical here on campus. So if you guys are inclined to audition, please do so and support the theater arts.
Thank you, Senator Arzabal. With that, we'll move on to Senator Guzman.
Alright, so I'm trying to draft up the legislation, and this is in regards to a 6-week session. So right now, there's talks about, adding that at school, so, I was just hoping that, we could get the support from the student government, because I feel like this will help us all to transfer out earlier. And, I'm gonna bring that up in the coming weeks, so just, just look out for that. If you have any questions, I have like, information regarding that issue, so, just, yeah, just,
I just have a point of information. What exactly did you ask about?
it's a 16-week session.
Oh, 16 weeks.
Alright, 6.
Yeah.
Quorum privilege. With that, we go to quorum to 26. Senator Villalobos?
I'll just use it in my faculty later.
Okay. Is there any other Senate reports? See none. With that, we'll move on to item 8, old business. Item 8A, Board of Trustees orientation, informational and discussion item. The Senate shall be informed and discuss the student trustee responsibilities and how to relay and receive information from the Board of Trustees.
May we have the agenda bulletin?
Would you? Oh, got it.
After the next one?
Oh, yeah, so if there's no objections, we'll move on to item 8B and then we'll come back to 8A.
Put it on the table.
Oh, if there's no objections, we'll table item 8A and we'll move on to item 8B. Seeing no objections, with that, we'll move on to item 8B, commencement information item. The Senate shall be informed on the deadline to petition to graduate and other dates relative to commencement.
Good afternoon, Senators. This information has been on your agenda for quite a few weeks, so it is a little late now. The petition to graduate is at 3 p.m. today to have your name in the commencement program. But if you missed the deadline, that's okay. You can still petition to graduate before March 23rd. Your name will not be in the program, but you will still be able to walk and you'll still receive your diploma when they arrive in usually like around October or so when they arrive, because we don't make them in-house. We have a list of frequently asked questions that we compiled, so you can pick that list up starting tomorrow. We just need to make copies of it. And you need to go to admissions and records to fill out the petition to graduate. You will not hear back from them, unfortunately, once you turn in the petition. You will notice on your transcript that the petition was accepted. You'll see on the bottom of your transcript, on your unofficial transcript, that you earned your degree or your certificate if you qualify before this semester. So if you qualify after this semester, it'll show up in the summer. Commencement is on May 16th. It's a Saturday. It starts at 5 p.m. sharp in Falcon Stadium. We want all the students that are graduating that want to participate in commencement to come to the gym no later than 4 p.m. We all march to the stadium together as a group, and we will have more information for you as time gets closer. You will also get a letter in the mail mid-April if you did petition and your petition was accepted, and it'll include all the information that we're going to give you starting tomorrow.
Thank you, AJ. Do we,
I move to untable item.
well, how much time do we have time? We have 1 minute. If there's no objections, I'd like to open discussion for 1 minute. Seeing none, with that, we'll open discussion for 1 minute. Senator Patron and then Senator Nina.
I petitioned to graduate last semester, so I still have to petition to be on the, I'm good? Okay, thank you.
Senator Nina. 5 minutes. Oh, we have 4 minutes, so you good. Senator Nina.
Sorry, this is a question. I applied, or suppose a student applied for their, petition for the AAT, would that, do I have to petition for a graduation? It's the same.
It's the same thing. Just make sure your AAT is a valid transfer degree on campus.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, if there's,
So as long as we did, we completed our petition for the AAT, it's still valid, so we'll still get our name and everything in the commencement.
AJ?
If it was done before today, yes.
Any other point, any other discussion? Seeing none, if there's no objections, I'd like to close discussion. Seeing none, but that will close discussion and we'll take item 8A off the table.
Make a motion to take it off the table.
Oh, okay. Is there a motion?
I move to untable item 8A.
Is there a second? Second by Senator Venegas. Okay, if there are any objections to taking item 8A off the table? Seeing none, but that will take item 8A off the table, and that will move on to item 8A, Board of Trustees orientation. And we have 10 minutes.
Welcome, Senate. The reason I decided to do this presentation was to, give you guys an orientation or give you a little background on the context of the duties that I do and how my job here on campus is, and build a bigger connection between the board and the students. It's also come to my attention that, Trustee Talon wants to have a joint meeting with you guys, so it'll be like an official, it'll be an agenda, Brown Act, and somewhere we'll figure out where you guys can interact with us. So I think it's important that, I have this, and that's something that, I'm going to give you a little background, just where I'm coming from, and these views are mine and mine alone. And it's a quote by Huey P. Newton. He says, we view each other with great love and great understanding, and that we try to expand this to the general black population, and also oppressed people all over the world. And I think that we differ from some other groups simply because we understand the system better than most groups understand the system. And with this realization, we attempt to form a strong political base based in the community with only strength that we have, and that strength of potentially destructive force if we don't get to do. So the point is that, I want to show you how the Board of Trustees function and the power they have. So who are the Board of Trustees? There are 7 individuals elected by the community. Wherever your location is, you guys have a certain official that you can call and hear your issues, and he will represent you at these meetings. The student trustee myself is elected by the students. Only students who are elected, who are enrolled in Students College can vote for me. You can vote for the student trustee. And the student trustee is required by law. It's in Ed Code. Oh, so this is just like one of our board meetings. And this one, I'll explain to you who each person is and what their roles are. So this is the public, students. This is Professor leaving the public comment. This is Ruben. He's the general counsel, he's the lawyer. So whenever the board violates an act or they're trying to do something they cannot do, he will correct that, or he will advise the board on what they can do legally. Next to him is Dr. Gallardi. She's the Vice President of Human Resources. So she's in charge of equal opportunity, hiring, seeing whatever Human Resources does. I have other duties. They negotiate with the district on wages with faculty and staff. This is Vice President of Student Services. So this guy, Dr. Steven Johnson, is Dr. Contreras' job. He reports to him. He's the one who oversees everything in this department. So stuff like I believe financial aid, all the extra stuff that we need to be successful students. He's in charge of that. He's also, he's been very influential in AACC in the past. And he's basically the one who hired Dr. Contreras. Next to him is Dr. David Patel. He's the Vice President of Business Services. He is the one who crunches all the numbers. He oversees, he approves the budgets, or he writes the budgets. He looks over contracts, he signs off on contracts, and I think he's one of the most powerful people on this campus because he knows where all the financials are. Next to him is Dr. Schilling. That's Dr. Schilling. She's in charge of academic affairs. So she deals with faculty. She is in charge of enrollment, course additions, course deletions, and stuff like that. And next to her is Trustee Salazar. She is, I believe, forget trustee areas, but she covers Norwalk and some other parts, but that's her. Next to her is Trustee Dreyer. He just got elected. He covers the Bellflower District. And next to him is this lady right here, Dr. Shin Lu. She is a trustee from the area of Cerritos in nearby neighborhoods. And she's also a professor at Rio Hondo. Next to her is the board president. That's Carmen Avalos. She's kind of the chair. She's the one who decides, kind of has the last word. And she's a very powerful person as well. and she's from the Southgate area. And next to her is Dr. Linda Lacey. She is on her way out, and there's currently a process that the board is going through in hiring a new president. And she's, the superintendent, so she kind of oversees everything and gives direction for the campus. So the board will, give her direction, and then it's up to her to decide, which way she goes about that. So all the board does is give policies, and this way, an example would be if they say add 1,000 more courses. The board does not know what courses the students need. It's up to her and Dr. Johnson to figure out which courses are more beneficial to students. Next to her is Trustee Marissa Perez. Forget what district she's from, but next to her is Trustee Bob Arthur, and next to him is Trustee Rick Lewis. He's one of you. He's a student. He is very young, and he's growing. Next to me, next to him is me, student trustee, and then next to me is a faculty president, Michelle Llewellyn. So the faculty senate, what they do is they represent the faculty in these matters. So if there's an issue that faculty have when it comes to academics, then she will give a word or give her opinion on such things. Next to her is Professor Dr. Namala. He is the faculty union president. He represents the faculty in negotiations, teaching conditions, and other important matters that are related to organizing other professors. And next to him is a CSEA president, Lynn, I forget her last name, Lynn Lon. But she is a classified union president, so she represents staff on this campus. The same thing with Dr. Namala, wages and working conditions. And then next to her is a secretary, Andrea. Yeah, Andrea. That's her. She's basically the one who organizes all the agenda. She does all the secretary work. She writes the minutes, and she takes care of all this other stuff. And that's pretty good in tax, but shout outs to them. And this is I think that's it. Oh yeah, so my role, what I do, I represent the entire student body population here on campus. Wherever you come from, whatever goal you have here, it is my duties to hear you out and figure out a way to solve an issue if you have an issue, such as course enrollment. Recently, we have a problem with security on campus. The women here feeling unsafe. So that's an issue that should be brought up to the trustees, and that's an issue that I will bring up to them tonight. Being conscious of our students, being conscious of what's going on campus, trying to think about when there's an issue or an agenda, how does it relate to the students, or if there's something that needs to be said, and I'll try to say it. And protecting the rights of students. There's been an issue recently on transparency, and one of the board goals is to be transparent and have communication. And one of the issues is that there wasn't an open application process for the students to get a job. So those are issues like that needs to be brought up. And also being available and open to all issues. There's 26,000 students here, different ideologies, different backgrounds, different experiences, and I'm only one student. So I encourage students, to come to the board meetings to give us their points. I also, if I can, help you out, then I will. And sometimes, we might disagree on things, but it's up to us to work together to find a common solution. And that's pretty much it. My office is right here, next door, next to the president's office. It's brand new. So a lot of students are unaware that I exist, unaware of my position. So it's just more about letting students know that this is my role and this is what I can do for you and what we can do together. And I will finish it off with that, and then whatever time I have left, if you guys have any questions, I'll answer them.
We'll open up discussion for the remaining of the time, which is about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Is there any objections to open up for discussion? Seeing none, is there any discussion? Any questions for Daniel? Yes.
Where exactly are the meetings held?
Oh yeah, they're held in the boardroom in the administration building. So the school's kind of laid out nicely, but once you get the hang of it, you figure it out. But it's basically where financial aid is at. The HR, business, there's a boardroom that's just kind of see it, and they're supposed to be held every 2 weeks. Sometimes we have them like this month, it's very unique, we have 3 consecutive meetings. Sometimes we'll have special meetings, but they're usually on Wednesdays, every 2 weeks at 6:30. And you can have them, there's a meeting schedule online, I forgot to do that, I wanted to go through the website, but it's up, but anyways. You can, in my office, in the front door, I have a schedule, so there's the exact dates.
Senator Garcia, and can you guys please direct your questions to me, and then we'll address them.
The question I wanted to ask was how exactly did you become a student trustee, and how long do you serve for? Let's do it to you, man.
What was the first one? How did I become it?
How exactly did you become a
It
student
was
trustee?
part of a campaign with the Social Party Club where we saw that, we needed to have a student in there to represent the student voice. And we also saw that there was a contract that was going to be negotiated in the summer, so we needed to have students to be aware of the issues on textbooks. So that was the motivation to run for student trustee. And my term is from June 5th to June 5th again. So it's a year term. If I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
Time. Is there any motion to extend discussion? Seeing none, with that, thank you, Daniel. Daniel, can you turn on the lights? Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 8C, ACCJC follow-up report, informational item. The sentence shall be updated for the student regarding the accreditation follow-up report. AJ, do you happen to have the? No?
I didn't make
Okay, if there's no,
Point of clarification of where's public forum on the,
it was after item 8.
after item P?
Yeah. So we would do the entire item 8, old business, and then we'll move on to public forum. So if there's no objections, we shall postpone item 8C to next week. 8C, can you scroll down a little bit? 8C is the ACCJC follow-up report. So if there's no objections, we'll postpone item 8C to next week. Seeing none, with that, we'll postpone item 8C. With that, we'll move on to item 8D, Student Affairs Assistant. The Senate shall be informed and discuss about the Student Affairs Assistant position. And with that, we have 20 minutes. Is there anything that? Okay, with that, if there's no objections, we'll open up discussion for 20 minutes. Is there any objections? Seeing none, with that, we'll open up discussion for 20 minutes. Is there any discussion on this item? Senator Paul?
I just wanted to address some concerns in terms of the violation of the funding in which this position is being funded by. In the student equity plan, it says that there needs to be certain success indicators, and these success indicators are essentially what the state implements to address certain student success outcomes that have to be measurable. So by this position of having a description, it is not only violating the law in which the student equity plan was enabled, but it also endangers the credibility of the institution in which has passed these positions. So in turn, it affects the students as a whole. We all know that ACCJC is an accreditation bureau that comes down to colleges and determines the credibility of the certificates and how the institution is run. So I feel it's my obligation to inform students to let them know that there is a possible violation of the student equity plan by funding these positions.
With that, I'll hand the meeting back over to Charles.
Hi, everyone. Two things. Never ever be a computer science major. And that's it. I had to do my granted. And with that, quorum is. Can I get let's go grab that chair. Say it.
Quorum is at 26 now.
Hi, everyone. Continually staring at me as I grab a chair.
Why did I?
Okay. Why did I not do that? I'm very
Alright,
sorry.
once I give it back.
Okay. Where are we currently?
Foreman's at 26, and as soon as I give you the chair position back, Foreman's back up to 27.
Okay, with that, quorum is now back up to 27. Where are we currently in the agenda?
We're on 8D, student apprentice system.
Okay, and with that, we now go to 8D, student apprentice system?
Yeah, we're
in
in
discussion.
discussion.
We are currently in discussion. Okay, are there any other points of discussion at this time? Okay, seeing none. Oh, there you go.
So one thing that I had talked about with this is my concern with it is having to go back to what we did in the fact that we started these new jobs as well. And my thing is kind of like that these job positions are being paid higher than I feel that they should be getting paid. $14 is a lot, and one concern that one thing that Trustee Flores brought up is Lynn, she's president of the CSCA, and her concern during the board meeting, when this was being brought up, was that some of her employees, which are staff on campus, get paid $9-something an hour, and her concern is that these jobs are starting to pay at 14, whereas her employees that have been here for years are only getting paid about $9 an hour. So I feel like these jobs are kind of high wage. It's awesome that they're high wage because it's for the students, but at the same time, it doesn't look right, like Senator Arzabal said, it doesn't look right for student activities to the campus because our students, our president and vice president are getting paid $14 an hour, whereas staff on campus are only getting paid about $9 an hour. So I just feel like this isn't such a great wage for these positions.
Okay, thank you, Senator Sanchez. Your point is well taken. Senator Villalobos and Senator Nino.
There's been talks about, here at Senate too, about how us as Senate can't do anything about it, and that's totally false, as we are the voice of the students, and as some senators and some members of different clubs have been outreaching and taking in consideration into what other students have been saying about how they don't
Thank you, Senator.
agree with what, I'm not done, sorry, with what's going on. And the same going back to the Board of Trustees, Trustee Perez, when they went over this, she had stated, that she was for student jobs and that she thought it was great that, students would be getting paid, $14.32 an hour, but that she hoped that the Dean of Student Activities would be opening up, because there was, there was talk about other positions being open, that she hoped that this price would roll over to every other student. And unfortunately, that's not so. And just want to let you guys know that we do have a voice. We do have a right to ask for an equal opportunity, and we can make a difference.
Thank you, Senator Villalobos. Your point is well taken. Senator Nino, Senator Diaz, and Senator Guzman.
Yes. I'd just like to clarify, when I had said that in our previous meetings that the board has approved it, there's nothing that we can do about it. I'm talking about in this forum here, in Student Senate, whether we vote on, if somebody has to write a legislation or whatnot, whatever we agree on or disagree on is not going to change the status of the jobs by the employees. And I know that there have been some current concerns about lack of transparency, and I totally, understand and I agree that it could be a problem. But at the end of the day, we have to look at the transparency that we are holding as student government. We are completely transparent with everything that we do. And we're always following, Brown Act and making sure that everything's posted and transparent online and whatnot. So if there have been any concerns with the points that I have been making in the past, as a group, as a student body, as a whole, together, transparency isn't an issue with our group and our forum. So that's one of the things I was talking about. And then in addition, Senator Oyarzabal had mentioned before you got here, Charles, that the description of your job wasn't explained to us yet. So his concerns were that it could be a violation of the student equity plan. under under eligible expenses, expenditures, it states that student services and student service programs that directly support improved outcomes on success indicators. And since your job doesn't have a description so far that we know of, that we're not sure that it's a success, it's supporting any success indicators. So if maybe Chair would clarify the job position or the duties of your job?
Oh, sorry. Senator Viola?
I just want to be on the queue.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Give me a second here. Villalobos, Sanchez, and Venegas. Completely correct. Is there anybody else that? Okay. So as far as our description goes, again, it's just mainly to devise a lot of opportunity, to really develop more as far as student engagement goes. And part of that is really developing a lot more opportunities for students to have jobs here. So this is the reason why we have things such as the student activities clerk. And we're trying to devise more ways, and we're trying to talk to more students and how we can get these opportunities a little bit more. Currently, as far as engagement goes, since the primary concern from what we've gathered from a lot of students is the lack of information and the lack of outreach, we started to develop things that way. That's why AJ and Dr. Gill has really assigned, for me personally, is to really devise a lot more of the literature media coming forward. And a lot of the things such as the website, really making more visually appealing, and at the same time being able to make it more accessible and more transparent to students. Does that answer your question?
I believe so, considering accessibility would increase success.
Hold on. Senator Diaz.
Oh, I just wanted to add on to what Alvaro was saying because I'm a student worker and I've talked to a lot of other student workers and like their main concern was that they've been working here for like 6 years and what you guys are starting off with is what took them 6 years to get to. So they were kind of upset at that.
Thank you, Senator Diaz. As long as you're taken, I'll add you into the, or is that a point for me?
No, this is, can I direct the question to another senator?
No, even not. You added the director, did you?
Well, yeah, but okay. So I know that.
Wait, let me just get through the queue. And,
Okay.
Sorry, I'll add you into the queue. Thank you. So, okay, you're added as well. Senator Guzman?
So I just want to address this. I've been talking to a lot of students about this and they're very concerned about this. Mainly because there was no application process and a lot of the students think this is very unfair. And as far as for the senator that said that we didn't have no power or we can't do nothing about it, as far as I'm concerned, last semester we supported Linda Lacey's continued employment. I would argue against it. Like we didn't have a power, like we can't say, oh, she would be fired or not. So I think it's just in the same point. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Senator Guzman. Your point will take it back to Senator Villalobos. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, back to Senator Sanchez.
So I have 3 points to go on. The first one would be something that President Aguelo said a couple weeks ago about the job description. And he said that for his job, he was going to go out and talk to students at night on how to get student engagement, how to be involved and stuff like that. And then what Vice President Kagura just said right now is that he goes online and updates the student government page. That's the jobs of the Commissioner of Nighttime Activities and the Commissioner of IT. So the jobs that you guys are doing, going out there to talk to students at night, to get involved, and then going on our website and updating our student government photos and all that stuff, is what the Commissioner of IT should be doing. So I feel like we're taking jobs away from our commissioners, and then you guys are doing them and getting paid for them. So I feel like this is something that, well, if you guys are going to stay on it, we should take you guys away from that and do other things and let the commissioners do what we appointed them to do. And then going back to what Senator Diaz said, the student ambassador job, Dr. Gill keeps bringing up that there's two senators in Senate that work under student activities as well. But the thing is that the 2 senators that aren't on here, and I am one of them, we went through our application process, we went through our hiring committee, we went through all these things, and it's not anywhere near what these jobs were hired based on. And then on top of it, we don't report to Dr. Contreras, we report to Shirley Arceo. So it's not the same. So I just want the Senate to know that if you guys are thinking about what Dr. Gill keep bringing up about those 2 senators that do work in there, is not the same way. And then the last thing that Senator Nino just said was the transparency. I feel like there's no transparency issues within the Senate, within student government at all. I feel that transparency issue is with Dr. Gill. A lot of issues are coming up, like these jobs, the money that's going on that is being used outside without letting the Senate know. I feel like that's where the transparency issue is coming from, is Dr. Gill. Because he didn't let any of us know that these jobs were even available. Like if these jobs were told to the Senate that they're available and we're giving them to the president or vice president, it would have been so much better than the senators that were there at that board meeting and even our student trustee finding out at that board meeting that day that these items were going to be voted on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Senator Sanchez. Your point is well taken. To Senator Venegas.
I want to make a comment that I've been hearing is that you guys' description, you guys are hiring a student first assistant, but yet I hear that you guys are outreaching to students to enhance student engagement, but isn't that your duty as a vice president and president to do so? I mean, you two individuals already knew what you're getting into as president and vice president, therefore you're outreaching to students, but that's your duty. And we have legislation on this, so this should be on next week's agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Venegas. I keep forgetting your last name. Senator Venegas, your point is well taken. Senator Beltran.
I just wanted to reiterate that the whole, everybody keeps mentioning job description because the language they keep, whenever, you guys keep being asked what is your job description, it's always the same language. Well, it pretty much is, or it's kind of like, but you don't actually say, this is my job description, this is what I'm going to be doing. So that creates a conflict of interest because, like you mentioned, isn't that already your duty as the vice president and the president? So that is my issue, that there's no job description.
Well, you're added into the list already. Mr. Flores, is that a comment or a question? Okay, thank you. Senator Beltran, your point is well taken. Senator Sedano.
Okay, so earlier, Senator Villalobos mentioned that, that I guess the majority of the Senate doesn't think that they can do anything about it. What exactly can the Senate or the student body do to fix this issue or concern?
As far as seeing that this is more of a discussion on employment, actually, does anybody from our staff knows as far as like what they can do with regards to these positions? Yes.
The only thing I'm going to add to this is that the positions were approved by HR, and HR is the main body in charge of hiring and firing. So that's all I can add. I wasn't part of this process, but all I'm going to say is that HR did approve it. So.
Okay. Would that answer your question, Senator Sedano?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We now move on back to Senator Yarko.
I mean, there's plenty of other things that we can do as a Senate. Many of them we don't feel the need to discuss now. Potentially asking our officers to resign, or holding discussions much like we have here now. I guess my concern would be like it just feels like a handout. It feels like there's certain students that have shown dedication and are receiving a handout to do what they are doing, as we talked earlier about the roles being very similar and potentially being a conflict of interest. And also, I just wanted to clarify the success indicators as on the Chancellor's page of the Community College government of, California Community College Chancellor's Office. It says that there must be success indicators are used to identify and measure areas for which disadvantaged populations may be impacted by issues of equal opportunity. So this is exactly going against everything that this plan is supposed to do. It's not for specific positions, but it's for programs that benefit populations of disadvantaged communities. So in a sense, you guys got money from a fund that's supposed to benefit the entire student body and was given to two opportunities. This is a clear misuse of the equity plan, and also there are other programs that could have been funded, much like the drum line could have been funded through this student equity plan, but we chose to give them the money through ACC. And as far as HR approving it, there are mistakes. People do make mistakes. We are student senators. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're learning. Sometimes other people make mistakes, and I encourage the student body to not fall under appeals of emotion and appeals of authority, and just base their opinions on fact and on law. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Arizabal. Your point is well taken. Senator, you still have 2 minutes? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay. Senator Gonzalez?
Okay, so having much discussion and concerns, brought here at the table, is it possible for Senate to just take a stand and maybe, have this issues be brought up to board of trustees?
Seeing that there is legislation being moved forward, actually what that could happen if you're taking it to the board is that for Senate to do it, they would have to do a recommendation. And then send it to the board to have it recommended to be done like that. Okay. All right, Senator Athena?
Everybody addressed my points.
Okay, back to Senator Diaz. Back to Senator Villalobos.
Okay, so I just wanted to confirm what AJ said and what our ACC president has stated, that HR went by the right way, and that there is technically, as it was said, that they don't have to give us a job description. And I've mentioned this before, it's like, why would they give us a job description for the position that was open to everyone, the clerk position, the $9.93 an hour, and why you think we'd want to see a job description from a position that's getting paid $14.32 an hour? And the conflict I see within that is that when I spoke to HR and I showed them the flyer for the new position, I said, well, this one has a job description. And they stated, well, that's the people of student activities. They have the power to put that. So if there's no job description within these positions that we're talking about, that's saying that the dean of student activities and other members within, other administration within student activities have the power to implement a job description whenever they please, as they please. So it could potentially be something that's within their job description as the president or vice president, or it could be something totally not. So it's at the discretion of their supervisor, our dean of student activities, to let them know what their job description is, and he can implement when and where what they do. So I see that as a conflict of interest, that there's no set description that they're going to abide by, and who's not to say that their supervisor and our advisor will have them do something that crosses the line between student affairs administrative assistant and ACC president and vice president.
Senator Villalobos, point is well taken, and we're good. Okay. With that, discussion is ended unless there is a motion on the floor to extend discussion. We shall. Senator Guzman.
Motion for a minute for first speaker.
1 minute. Is there a second? Okay. It's been moved by Senator Guzman, seconded by Senator Arizabal to have a discussion 1 minute per speaker. If there are no objections, we shall have discussion 1 minute per speaker. Okay. Seeing none, I am going to. We're going to have discussion 1 minute per speaker. I'm going to go ahead and renew the queue. Is there anybody that would like to speak at this time? Mr. Flores, Ms. Jimenez.
How does this discussion end?
So discussion, and so like for example, if you were to raise your hand, you would only have 1 minute. You may not. That will be the only discussion, point of discussion you will ever have for that particular time.
Oh, but
overall, when there is nobody else that raises their hand for point of discussion, that is when discussion ends. Okay. Senator Munoz, do you want to be on that? Okay. So Mr. Flores.
Real quick. So there's two issues. There's the issue of transparency, and then there's another issue of student jobs. So I think that there's another conversation that needs to happen after, and that is the compensation of student officers, such as you guys. For me to think when I was at the board meetings that they lied to me. They said that it wasn't because of their duties, but then they later admitted that it was. So I think, all of you should be rewarded. All of you guys provide job services to the students at large, and there should be a system, compensation for you guys, a monthly stipend, whatever that amount it is, we can talk to the administration. Can we talk about, the student trustee and how much he gets paid? I get paid a lot. Can we split that much amount and spread out to everybody who's in government or solicitor job? Those are conversations we want to be asked if you guys do want to be compensated for the work you do. So that's the issue that I have with it. The way, the process, and then the other issue of having students employed while in business and government.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Your plan is well taken, Ms. Jimenez.
Kind of Daniel actually touched a little bit, and this is more common general for everyone to kind of keep in mind. No one is denying the fact that our VP and president do a lot for campus, just like senators and everyone that participates. I don't think that's the issue at hand. The fact is really the process that was implemented in acquiring these payments. They knew in October, they began getting paid in January, and yet we found out through Talon. That's how we all got informed. That tells me that there's a transparency issue. Maybe amongst us here there wasn't, but along the chain somewhere, it got disconnected. And that's a big issue. Also the fact that it oversees everything that the democratic process stands for. It means that we have to have checks and balances. Where does our check go into place when our VP and president are now responsible and beholden to an employer above the constituents? That's the big issue at hand. And I want you guys as senators to keep that in mind. That's the big issue at hand here. Because now they are responsible to someone above us, all constituents. And when I say us, I mean every single student here and outside out there. We represent people on campus, and I think that needs to be addressed and overseen. If they need to be compensated, they could have come to Senate. We could have set up a system here, and that could have been a way for everyone to have what they wanted, but they should have allowed us, and they should have given us the opportunity, because at the time I was a senator, to have a voice and say, yay, this is possible, this is not possible. How can we move and balance the budget so that it's allowable? But they didn't. They chose to do it. They chose an incorrect means in my eyes. They used the back door instead of using the front door. Now I want you guys to keep that in mind.
Well taken, Senator Nina.
Yes, okay. I know that it's been brought up about supporting Dr. Lacey's employment last semester and comparing to the employment of student affairs assistant this semester. Last semester, I believe the two topics are a little completely different. There were claims that Dr. Lacey was fraud, wasn't doing her job, they were hiding money, whatnot. And for the student affairs assistants, we're not making any claims that you're not doing your job or whatnot. I think that the claims or the discussions have been about the means in which you are hired and the wages that you're being hired, but not about whether or not you're doing your job or whatnot. So I'd just like to clarify that difference, how it is different in fact. And I'll deal with the rest of my time until you guys stop.
You just want to. Okay. Thank you, Senator Nina Brooke. Your point is well taken. Back to Senator Sanchez. Granted, with that quorum is now back at 25. I got you. And then,
Okay, one thing that I want to address is what Commissioner Jimenez said, is that for the compensation part, I mean, one thing that I was bothered about with this job description is that last year, the budget was approved to give the president and the vice president each $1,000 in the budget. So they already have that compensation there set in the budget. So my concern is that on top of it, with them getting paid these $14 an hour, they also have a $1,000 budget set aside just for that. So it's kind of a concern on how it relates to the students, because the students, some of us don't have a job, and a majority of us do not have that $1,000 set on the side for us. So it bothered me because these jobs could have gone to those students who could use these jobs. They would have taken them for $9 an hour. And our president and vice president now have these $14 an hour and $1,000 set aside for them. So,
all right, thank you, Senator Sanchez. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your last number. Guzman. Can't read it right now. Let me move back into the queue. To Ms. Morales.
Thank you. So this is actually going to be my public comment, but since we're already in discussion, I'd rather just make this comment right now. And if you guys can pass this around to each and one of the senators, I'd appreciate that. So being that we're in this discussion, there's a lot of issues that are being brought up, and I actually want to thank every single one of you for opening the floor to discuss these issues, because it's kind of been somewhat of a hassle to talk about it inside Senate. So I'm with the Social Equality Club, and as you guys know, the Social Equality Club takes on the responsibility to being in the forefront of student issues. We found that this was a student issue when we found out that this job was executively given to these individuals in the Board of Trustees meeting. So we found that this was an issue, and we started talking to other students, not necessarily within the Social Equality Club, but just students that happen to be concerned students as well. And they brought up different issues, and that's why we decided to take on this issue and address it. Many of you are talking about a solution. If you read through the packet that you are given, you will read a brief description of every single issue. We are asking President and Vice President to resign from your position and let the Dean of Student Activities open it to the rest of the student population so that it offers an equal opportunity for all. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Your point is well taken. Well, before I go back into the queue, just to let everybody know, it is currently 3:06, and just as a suggestion, since we still do have our guest, if someone could entertain the motion to pretty much table this agenda item, and to have pretty much the rest of our business meeting. Senator, move to table this question. Is there a second? Okay, so it's been moved by Senator Yarzabal, seconded by Senator Villalobos to table this discussion and move on to the part of our agenda. If there are no objections, we shall table this item on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, sorry, I have my own agenda right here. Senator Yarzabal?
I move to move item C, 7C, D, and E above A.
Okay, is there a second? So the motion before you, just so everybody's clear, is to move 7C, CM3 South Super Pi Day Conference, the CASHA Conference, and the Guarded Initiative above item A, 7A, which is the Transfer Center. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Senator Yarzabal, seconded by Senator Venegas to move item 7C, D, and E above item 7A. If there are no objections, we shall move item 7C, D, and E above. Can you justify your objection?
We do have a transfer center speaker here today, so I don't know if she has to go anywhere, but I feel like we should keep her up at 7A because she's just going to do a small presentation, so it wouldn't take that much time.
So unless Senator Yarzabal rescinds his motion, we shall go into we shall go into a roll call. Okay. Seeing that it isn't, I will take this into a roll call. Yeah. So the motion before you is to move. What's that? Oh okay, sorry. So the motion before you is to move item 7C, D, and E above 7A. Aye, if you wish to move the items on the agenda. Nay is to not move the items on the agenda, and then abstentions. Senator Aponte?
Nay.
Senator Arana is not here. Senator Garcia also just left. Senator Beltran?
Nay.
Senator Blanchard just left. Senator Castillo?
Nay.
Senator Diaz also just left. Senator Fernandez? Abstained. Senator Fierro is also not here. Senator Florendo is no longer here. Senator Garcia?
Nay.
Nay. Senator Gonzalez?
Nay.
Senator Gurley?
Nay.
Senator Guzman?
Abstain.
Abstained. Senator McIver? Not here. Senator Katani? Senator Lee?
Nay.
Where are you? Oh, there you are. Senator Lucero? Senator Nino?
Nay.
Senator
Personal privilege.
Granted. And with that, quorum is reestablished at 22. Senator Oliveira?
Nay.
Where are you? Oh, here you go. Senator Yarzabal?
Aye.
Senator Sanchez?
Nay.
Senator Athena?
Nay.
Senator Sedano?
Aye.
Okay. Senator Serna?
Nay.
Senator Ugu?
Nay.
Senator Venegas?
Aye.
Senator Vidal?
Nay.
Senator Villalobos?
Nay.
Senator Vu? Oh, there you are. Senator Wong is not here today, and Senator Zepito. Also not here. Okay. 4 ayes, 17 nays, and 2 abstentions, and with that, motion does not pass, and we shall not move anything from the agenda. Senator Guzman?
To make a point of clarification, do we always have to do roll call?
If there is an objection, yes, it has to go through a roll call. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 7A, Transfer Center informational item by Marvelina Barcelo for 10 minutes. The Senate shall be informed of the 2015 Spring University Tours.
Thank you very much for having me, and I know you guys are keeping track of time, so you will tell me exactly how much time I have. Can I pull up the Transfer Center website?
Yes.
And my presentation for today is primarily focusing on the university tours for spring 2015. And I really want to highlight the university tours because at Cerritos College, many of you may not know that other community colleges don't even have as many university tours as we have. And so to me, it kind of shocks me, but it also makes me very proud of what the Transfer Center here at Cerritos College has to offer. And I'm going to try to pull up the list of the tours. Okay. So some technical difficulties. And this semester we have a tour to UC Santa Barbara. We have a Northern California trip that is during spring break that does visit UC Berkeley, UC Santa Cruz, and UC Davis. And also another 3-day tour to Arizona universities. We're going to visit Arizona State as well as Northern Arizona University. And we're also going to have UC Santa Barbara in March and Fullerton in April. And the reason why I really want to highlight this is because we don't always get a lot of students that sign up. And yet a lot of other community colleges don't even offer this. For the most part, the Northern California trip, and if you can just click on the county tours, and then the spring 2015 tours. And so we want to highlight this because we don't always get a lot of students that sign up for these tours, and often we wonder why. And it could be maybe we don't have a lot of people to help us promote it. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to promote our university tours because the Northern California tour, the actual deadline is today, but we have to extend the deadline to next Wednesday, February 25th. I do have some flyers with me today if you're interested, because we only received 6 applications as of yesterday. That's very strange. We're not really sure why we're not getting as many applications or just an interest. When we encourage students to attend these tours, it's primarily to just kind of get the information and really come back home and really compare to see what's a right fit for you. So it's not that we're pushing you to go to these schools. We want you to be able to compare what's so good about Berkeley, what's so good about Santa Cruz and Davis, and really have an informed decision when you're selecting your campus. A lot of you, I'm already familiar with you because some of you are leaving us in fall 15. And so maybe you need another visit, another eye, more information. You probably want to see what it's like to really be greeted by students or faculty there. So it may help you too, even if you've already applied, it may help you actually decide where you want to go. For those of you that may still be interested in going out of state, the Arizona University's tour, actually we're having a really good bonus on that one because ASU is actually providing us with dorms the first night. This is probably one of the tours that a lot of our other campuses cannot get or can't afford to do. The district, we're lucky again, they pay for the bus transportation. But again, we also want to make sure that it's worth their money, so we want to have at least 15 students to attend these tours. The Arizona University Tour as well Foundation is actually providing money for the second night so that we can stay at a hotel in Flagstaff. I would say about 3 meals are gonna be covered at Arizona. So really, we try to reduce the cost for you. It is a lot of work, but I am such an advocate for trying to get the best experience possible so that all of you can, again, come back home and bring the information and see what you like and don't like about the campuses. Even if you're not maybe yet really interested in going to Arizona, but at least you can see what other majors they have. Arizona State actually has so much majors that are so impacted in California, especially with business, criminal justice, communication. They're not as impacted at Arizona State, not because they're not a great school. They actually have a lot of rankings, but they have a lot more money to offer and accept a lot more students to their campuses. And also Northern Arizona University and Arizona State offer reduced tuition rate to California residents. So these are things that you may not know, but as you come to these tours, you'll get to know more information so that you can also pass along that information to other students that are still gonna be here another year or another 2 years. So I do wanna pass out the flyers. And both of these deadlines, like I said, the Northern California tour, that deadline is going to be extended to the 25th. So that's next Wednesday if you're still interested. And the Arizona State University, the first deadline is February 25th as well. There is a second deadline, which is March 13th, but we prefer to try to get as many applications for by the February 25th. So we can see if we're actually going to get the amount of students we need to actually get the bus, because the bus is what's the most expensive thing. And the other ones that are one-day tours, it is a $10 deposit, but the day of the tour, you actually get the money back. And I think UC Santa Barbara, that actually has a lot of students already signed up, but we don't have a cap on these. So if we need to get 2 buses, we'll get 2 buses. That's not a problem. We just want to be able to take advantage of these tours so you can come back and make the best informed decision. That's what I really wanted to share. Are there any questions?
Is there any further discussion? Senator Villalobos and Senator Lee got a question for Granted. Senator Villalobos?
Yeah, I went on the USC tour and the chaperone stated that if you go on the
Senator
tour.
Villalobos?
Oh, sorry. That if you go on a tour, is it true that you can get priority registration for 1 semester or something along those lines?
Would that be correct, Ms. Rosella?
No, that doesn't sound familiar. I wish. I think if I were the chief, I think we'd have a lot more students coming in. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that statement.
We'll follow up. Follow-up question. Let me go to Senator Aponte and then we'll go back to you. Senator Aponte?
Oh, I just want to encourage you guys to attend these trips because they are very motivating. You meet other students who are focused, and so it's refreshing to go to these schools and see the vibes and everything. Also, I have a question. Is UCLA still, are we still participating in the UCLA Staff Conference?
That's a great question. So every fall and spring we try to change the tours. So they do offer a tour in April, but because we offered the UCLA tour last semester, the Transfer Center isn't hosting it through transportation, but students can still attend the staff conference on their own.
Is there a question, Senator Aponte? Okay, back to, okay. Senator Garcia.
The question I wanted to ask was, what if you already been to the Northern Cal trip? Like, can you go again?
Yeah, I would say definitely just submit your application because sometimes when you go the first time, you're thinking differently. And if you're already applying, you may have other things that you're looking for. So I would definitely say if you already attended the Northern Cal trip, go ahead and submit your application. On the actual statement that we require, go ahead and put down that you have attended already, but that you're looking for other things on this second trip because we know that the first time, you may not have answered all your questions.
Okay,
and that's happened before. We have students go more than once.
Does that answer your question, Senator Garcia? Thank you. Are there any other point of discussion or point of questions at this time? Senator Ubu?
I have a question. Will they have a UCI tour anytime soon?
We only have it in the fall semester, so we try to rotate the tours so we don't overlap. So we try to make the fall tours separate from the spring tours, so the UC Irvine tour is only in the fall semester. Are you leaving us this fall?
No.
Okay, so you'll be here another year? You'll be here another year? Yes. Okay, so in the fall semester.
Are there any other point of discussion at this time? Or point of discussion? Okay, seeing none,
Thank you so
give a round of applause for that. We now move on to item 7B of Senator
I move to move item C above B, seeing as we might lose quorum, we can do action items before we lose quorum.
Okay, sure. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Senator Yarzabal, seconded by Senator Athena to move item 7C before 7B. If there are no objections, we shall move item 7B before 7C before 7B. Okay, seeing none, we shall now move on to item 7C, CMC3 South Super Pi Day Conference Informational and Action Item for 5 minutes by Ruben Alvarez. The Senate shall discuss and possibly take action regarding sponsoring the Math Club for their trip to the Super Pi Day Conference.
Alright, hi guys, my name is Ruben Alvarez. I'm here representing the Math Club. I'm the Math Club president. And basically, I set up this trip to go to this math conference, the Super Pi Day conference. And many of you are probably wondering, what is Super Pi Day? Well, what happens every year, we have a Pi Day. It's March 14th. But this year is 2015, so it lines up perfectly to call it Super Pi Day because pi is 3.1415, and so this happens like once in a lifetime, once in a century, you know? It's like once in a lifetime experience that we, like, it can't happen. So, like, the one up is like, this happened like once in forever was in March 14th of 1592, because that's the most, like, it's the date we'll get closest to pi is 3.141592655358, and so that was the year of 1592. So this is a great festival or conference to celebrate and take my Math Club members to. We're currently taking 17 members with us and our advisor. That will be a total of 18 people. During the conference, the Friday will take place as called the Ignite event. So it will be like many discussions, 5-minute discussions about something related with math. So it's like somebody goes up to the stage. They have 20 slides, and each slide, you go on to the next slide every 15 seconds. So that's something new I've never heard of, and that sounds like really interesting. I think the way it benefits Cerritos College is the Math Club will try to kind of make an Ignite event here at Cerritos College where we'll incorporate all the clubs, kind of have the Math Club do a 5-minute presentation, have Astro Club do a 5-minute presentation, and all the clubs here. Another thing is, they'll have a bunch of workshops. So all of Saturday, we have from 8 to 4, we have a keynote speaker that will talk about pi. So how pi was discovered, all the benefits of like the discovery, like how pi has changed the mathematical world and how it has helped us with with physics and astronomy and all those subjects that relate to mathematics. We'll also be able to network with a bunch of community college professors that are attending the conference. A bunch of the mathematics professors here at Cerritos College are also attending this conference. So it's a way for us to get to know the math department and see how the Math Club could kind of help the math department reduce math anxiety, help students love and appreciate math like all our members do. There's also a thing that we host. The Math Club does a math league exam every semester. And basically around 30 or 60 students participate every semester, and the conference recognizes statewide students that have done really well in the tournament. We as a school haven't been recognized because the student hasn't really like super exceeded during the exam, and we want to communicate with other community colleges and try to form a team and kind of have like intercollegiate competitions so we could have a team here at Cerritos College competing with like Long Beach City College and getting these people to like really practice in the math league exam and really get recognized for something that I think a bunch of students here are capable of getting recognized for. The workshops, they help us find the beauty and intricacies of mathematics and find interesting new careers with all the networking that we're going to be able to accomplish. Yeah, thank you. I gave you guys a packet of all like the expenses we plan on using. We're currently asking for $5,131.92 from ACC. The Math Club has raised 20%, so we do have $1,283 in the bottom of the expense page in our account. The total trip costs a little north of $6,000, and So I kind of put the flyer too, so you guys can see the event. And then I think it's page 2 that you have the reservations for the hotel. So, and then another page is with another price. It was like how much the hotel cost. So I was able to negotiate a price with the hotel because we're going to get a group like rate. So I was able to negotiate with them because we're getting 10 rooms. So they brought it down. I think they gave us like a $50 discount per room. So we're saving like $500 just like for me negotiating. And I kind of justified that saving so we could kind of get Math Club t-shirts so we could all wear them during Super Pi Day. And you guys get to see the t-shirt in the very last page. Does anyone have any questions?
Senator, is this a final discussion?
Yeah, it's a question.
Can actually, well, how much time do we have? Okay, if there are no objections, we will open up discussion for 5 minutes. Seeing none, okay, Senator Villalobos and Senator Sanchez and Senator Nino.
So I want to acknowledge the math club for actually breaking this down for us. I really appreciate it. And yeah, and my question was for on registration, the $20 annual membership. So is that our AACC would be paying for a membership that is it tied to this that you have to have this membership to get in, or is this just like something extra?
Oh, it's just an added bonus to the registration. So, like you're paying $115, so you're getting a $20 annual membership for the California Mathematical Council. You're getting lunch included on Saturday, and then on Friday we get to participate in the reception and all the entertainment that they're gonna have.
Thank you. Your question, Senator Harrisville? I mean, Senator Villalobos. What is wrong with you today? Last name confusion. Does that answer your question, Senator Villalobos?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Senator Sanchez?
2 things. The first one, how many students are staying in one room per room?
There are 2 students per room, and there'll be 2 males and 2 females in different rooms. So males, and they're not going to be co-ed or anything like that. And then we have, unfortunately, there's an odd number of students going. So one student will have a single room. Me as president didn't take that room, so it's not like a conflict of interest. So saying, president, I get my own room. So, I have a roommate, okay, and he kind of just did the guy that got the short end of the stick, pretty much.
I'll move on with the discussion first, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, Senator Nino?
I had a similar question. We too also are going on a conference ourselves, and I know multiple groups are going on conferences. And a lot of times we had to sleep on the floor or a couch or whatnot, because I noticed that there was one student with their own room. So, I mean, if you guys can take that into consideration, and then I know that you save a lot of money, and you planned on using it towards t-shirts, but I don't know. Looks good. Thank you for your presentation. But my concern mostly was for the one student in that single room.
Thank you, Senator Nino. Your point is well taken. Senator Yarzabal?
I'd just like to commend the Math Club for encouraging students to, participate in these collegiate events. And it looks like a really thought out plan, and I'd like to commend you for that, for bringing all of this itemized list to the attention of the Senate. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Senator Yarzabal. Your point is well taken. Back to Senator Sanchez.
One thing I would suggest the math club to do is that I know like Phi Theta Kappa, Phi Beta Lambda, and I think it goes MUN as well. When we do go on conferences, we usually put 4 people per room. So there's 2 students per bed. So that's one thing I would suggest, because it will cut down the cost a lot more. Because the conferences that I have attended, we put 4 per room. So it'd be 4 guys, 4 girls. So I encourage you guys to do that, because if you guys do, and let's say if it is equal 8 guys, 8 girls, it would cut down the cost from 8 rooms to 4 rooms. So that could be a lot of money that you guys can save on that, especially since you guys have to put in 20% of this. And then on top of it, my concern kind of is with the t-shirts. One thing is that an item that we had last week was the headband and the jacket, so it kind of feels like the t-shirts kind of fall under the same thing, where we didn't want to give the headband jackets, so I don't know if we still want to do the same thing with the math club, but again, this is a club compared to the pep band, which was a class. So it's just up to the Senate what we want to do on that. But I encourage you guys to probably switch it from 2 per room to 4, and it'll save a lot more money.
Thank you, Senator Sanchez. Your funds will take in. Senator Villalobos, you're added to the queue. Moving on to Senator Sedano.
So I have a question about the rooms, as Aldomar was mentioning. How many, is it a single bed or is it a queen size bed?
Mr. Alvarez?
It's just a double bed.
I have another thing to address.
I'll move on to other people first, and then
Okay.
we'll come back to you. Senator Beltran?
No, I was just gonna say that I traveled with NUM before to a conference, and there's actually, I think there was 5 girls in a double bedroom, and there was 3 girls in one bed. It wasn't comfortable, and then 2 girls in another bed, and we did save a lot of money. It was a lot of people I think there was like 4 or 5 people per room. And we had like 3 or 4 rooms. So yeah.
Thank you, Senator Beltran. Your funds will take in. Senator Villalobos?
I've been to different conferences with other clubs, and there's been 2 people per room, 3 people per room, so it's not always the way it's been stated. And I'm pretty sure if those who have been to conferences can express that it is uncomfortable, and saying that we are for the clubs and that we are for the students to be engaged, and I believe that most of these club members are also involved with math tutoring, that it would just turn around and benefit us in the end.
Thank you, Senator Villalobos. Your funds will take in. With that, time has expired unless there is a motion on the floor to extend discussion.
I move to approve for the amount that's being asked.
Currently, there is no legislation put forward, but you can make a motion to have legislation put forward and have it approved for next week.
Is it not an action item?
It is an action item. So what can happen is pretty much what I would suggest is pretty much what we did for the March and March, is basically have that pre-approved and have it signed the next week.
And I motion to pre-approve and enact legislation.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Senator Yarzabal, seconded by Senator Aponte to pre-approve, is this to pre-approve this agenda item and to have legislation set forward next week. If there are no objections, we shall have this approved next week. Okay, would you like to defend your motion?
I feel like we should have a legislation to have it to see what the spending would be on. And then on top of it, I feel like we can cut the rooms down. I know, I didn't say that all the clubs did that, but majority of us do that, and it would save both the math club money and it will save ACC money also for other clubs that are coming. So I feel like we should give the math club time to look into if they can possibly do that. So I encourage us not to pass this right now.
We'll move on to the motion. So unless Senator Oyarzabal rescinds his motion, we shall move on to a roll call vote. Okay. So the motion before you is to pre-approve this agenda item and to have legislation set forward for the next week. Aye is to have it pre-approved, nay is to not have it pre-approved, and then abstentions. Senator Aponte?
Aye.
Senator Beltran? Do you need any clarification?
No, I'm good. Nay.
Nay. Senator Castillo?
Aye.
Senator Diaz is not here. Senator Fernandez?
Aye.
Senator Garcia?
Nay.
Senator Gonzalez? Also left. Senator Gurley?
Aye.
Senator Guzman? Also just left. Senator MacGyver also left. Senator Catani also left. Senator Lee is also gone. Senator Lucero?
Aye.
Senator Nino?
Point of clarification. So if we vote aye, we're approving to have legislation written at a later time.
We're approving this already, and it's just on the legislation next week, then we'll just be a formality, similar to how the March and March legislation was sent forward.
So if we vote nay, we are voting against.
Just pre-approving it, but that doesn't, that's not to say that legislation can be moved forward for next week.
Okay.
Okay. Senator Oliveira?
Aye.
Aye. Senator Oyarzabal?
Aye.
Senator Sanchez?
Okay.
Senator Athena?
Aye.
Senator Sedano?
Nay.
Senator Serna?
Aye.
Hey, Senator Ubu?
Nay.
Senator Venegas?
Aye.
Senator Vidal?
Nay.
Senator Villalobos?
Aye.
Senator Vu?
Aye.
Senator, that's it. 12 ayes, 7 nays, and 0 abstentions, and with that, motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on with Senator Yasmin.
I move item B, ahead of B, seeing as it's an action item, it might not meet form.
Is there a second? Person Perez? Sorry.
I'll second.
But if I want to motion it but amend it.
Yes, we'll wait for a second first. So is there a second to the motion? The motion before you was to move item 7D before 7B. Is there a second? Yeah, okay. So it's been moved by Senator Garza, seconded by Senator Aponte, I saw you a while ago, sorry. To move item 7D before 7B, and then,
I motion to move both 7B and 7B, seeing that they're both action items before 7B.
it has been actually informed to me that 7E is going to be postponed for next meeting. The people that are actually presenting is going to, has already informed us. Okay, so we'll actually move on with that motion for later on. Are you still moving forward with your amendment? No. Okay. Okay, so the motion before you is to move item 7D before 7B. If there are no objections, we shall move item 7D before 7B. Would you like to defend your objection? Please?
My objection is because we do have Dan Klaus here already, so I feel like he's waiting to speak to the Senate. So I encourage the senators to take back their motion, and we just have Dan Klaus present to us, and then go to the CASHA conference.
Just to clarify, is there anybody that is actually here for the CASHA conference? Is Ashley Johnson or someone from representative is going to present for us today? No? Okay. Can actually someone entertain the motion to rescind that motion, seeing that no one is actually presenting? That's actually going to be through Senator Oriozabal to rescind that motion.
Well, we can still do it in this one.
Yeah.
Is there not a representative?
There is no representative here today.
I understand.
Okay. So with that, if there are no objections, we shall postpone item 7D and E from the agenda for next week. Okay? Seeing none, item 7D and E is postponed for next week. Moving on to item 7B, Cerritos 5K, OBS, and Fit Challenge, informational item for 5 minutes by Dan Claus. The Senate shall be in the form of a charity event at Cerritos College. Mr. Claus.
I'm gonna, everyone take one pass around. This is a handout right here. Athletics department, we're trying to find ways to do more charitable events. Partnered up with Antonio McKee. He is a former wrestler of ours, All-American. He's also in the Cerritos College Hall of Fame. He also is a former UFC fighter. We're going to do a 5K obstacle and fit challenge here on Cerritos College campus. Right now we're working out the course. Now, it's a 5K. It's going to start down at the stadium, go all through campus, all the way up front, all the way around. There's going to be a few obstacle courses along the way, nothing too difficult. You might have, we haven't figured that out yet, but you might run, do some tires, maybe jump over a wall. We're going to have some other people here, like Emmanuel Lewis fights MMA. We're going to have Rampage Jackson. He's a former UFC fighter. We're going to have some famous UFC fighters there to do autographs. Cerritos College, right here. You passing this around? Yeah. Okay. We have, it's a special rate for Cerritos College students. It's right here, $19 to do it. I'm going to present this before the clubs because we want to get as many Cerritos students there as possible. We're also going to have, on the Fieldhouse field, we're going to have several health vendors doing, water and health bars and different things. So at the end, we're going to have a news crew there. We're going to have, you'll be able to go and buy some food and have different food vendors. Did you scroll down the... Okay, registration right here. All the information for this event is right here. What I want is, I have a ton of these in my office. I'd love for students to pass them out. I'm going to talk to the clubs at the next club meeting. I'd love for, you guys can do team runs. You can all register as a team. You can dress funny. It's kind of a fun deal to promote health. The proceeds are going to Antonio McKee's foundation charity, which is called Fight for Kids. And this money will go to students or kids in the area to fund sports camps during the summer.
A lot of kids around here can't afford to go to different sports camps that are held around this area. So that's what he came from. Grew up in this area, was very poor, found Cerritos College. He wants to help other students around the area. So that's what we're doing. This is a first time go around. We'll see how it goes. We've got quite a few registered already. I don't know how much could you go to event info? I don't even know how much it cost originally. But Cerritos College students will get a discount with that code. Scroll down, see if it comes up. Just go to that early bird registration, $19 you can't beat. Any questions?
Are there any point of discussion at this time? Senator Aponte and Senator Gutierrez.
Do groups get a discount, 50% of the group?
No group discount, just $19. I think, okay, if I talked to the lady, I believe it was $50 the day of registration. So $19 is almost half for Cerritos College students. And so if you can get clubs together, and there's going to be awards at the end. Fastest time for this group, and then fastest time for single athletes. There's going to be 2 waves. I believe at 9 a.m. is the first wave is going to go, then the second wave is going to go, should end around 11 a.m.
Does that answer your question, Senator Aponte? Senator Athena?
$45. So it's a pretty good discount for Cerritos students.
I have 2 questions. One is, are they going to present this at the PE faculty meeting? And are they going to present this to the PE classes and health education classes?
Mr. Clark? Yeah, we've already done that in our department.
Okay.
Good question. I have, by the way, we would like some volunteers. At the club meeting, I'm going to bring a list of volunteers. The type of volunteers are helping with registration, at the finish line holding cups of water, and then I think everyone will get a t-shirt if you register. And hopefully the clubs will, maybe get 100 volunteers. So at that meeting, we'll get as many people signed up as possible.
Any last questions? Okay.
I just had a comment. I'd like to express my my endorsement for this. I've worked on a couple of 5Ks and 10Ks. I was a janitor. It's not so fun for a janitor, but in terms of raising money for, say, Revlon Walk Run for breast cancer or ovarian cancer, it's a good cause. So I guess I'd like to endorse this as much as I can. This is a great thing that Cerritos College can be involved with to increase student engagement and community engagement.
Any last questions? Just to clarify for everybody, we actually lost quorum like a long time ago. So after this, we actually have to adjourn the meeting. Senator Fernandez and Senator Vidal.
Would we be able to get some buyers to pass them out?
I have a box, huge box, it's 5,000 in my office. I can bring them over, put them up front. You guys can start delivering to all the students.
All right. Senator Vidal, then Mr. Gomez, then Senator Gomez. We'll go by it. Senator Vidal.
I don't see the time. What time does it start?
So I think it starts at 9 a.m. Yeah, it's 9 a.m. start, finishes at 11.
Mr. Gomez?
Yeah, I just want to encourage you, if you cannot actually participate in it, definitely volunteer. It doesn't hurt to have volunteer hours at something on campus that you're familiar with individuals you're already familiar with. I have also volunteered for other 5Ks and other organizations like Special Olympics, and not only is it rewarding, but it's also a good resume builder. It gives you perspective on how other people are struggling also. So if you can't participate in it, I do encourage you to volunteer as whatever jobs they have for you.
I gotta be honest, I probably couldn't even finish a 5K myself right now. But I want everybody to know it's a fun deal. You can walk it. Even if you come up to a obstacle that you can't do, you can walk around it. It's not anything that's serious, okay? So everybody should enjoy it.
Okay. Actually, with that, time has expired, sorry. And seeing that we don't have any more quorum, we cannot actually vote for any more discussion. So thank you, Dan Claus, for coming here today. Drop the mic. Okay. And with that, sorry, it's still a meeting. With that, we are actually going ahead and adjourn this meeting at 3:40.
Make an announcement, just off the record. This Friday, we're having a legislation reading in the teleconference center. So LC 155 starts at 11. There might be a taco guy.
I don't like being there.